You know that moment when you're sitting at a red light, minding your own business, and somewhere 2 blocks away an engine fires up, and your head turns before your brain even processes what happened? Yeah, that's not a coincidence. That's not a hobby. That's wiring. Deep, weird, possibly unfixable wiring. And if you're the kind of guy who can tell a small block Chevy from a Ford 387 before the car even comes around the corner, congratulations. You're broken in a very specific, very beautiful way. And today we're going to talk about exactly why your brain works like this. Because honestly, somebody needs to. Let's start with the obvious. Most people hear a car drive by and they hear a car. That's it. That's the whole experience. A vehicle, made of metal, going somewhere. The end. They don't process it, they don't analyze it, they don't even register it. A Toyota Camry could pass them at full throttle and they'd describe it as, quote, kinda loud, I guess. Meanwhile, you, sitting on a porch 4 houses down, just heard that same Camry and thought to yourself, exhaust manifold's got a small leak on the passenger side, probably the gasket. Sounds like it's been like that for a few weeks. And you weren't even trying. You weren't focused. You were drinking a beer thinking about absolutely nothing. Your brain just did that. In the background, like a software update you never asked for but somehow installed itself in 1994 and never stopped running. This is the part nobody talks about. The world is full of background noise to most people. Lawn mowers, air conditioners, traffic, white noise. They tune it all out. But guys like us, we don't have a tune-out filter for engines. We have the opposite. We have a tune-in amplifier. A car could go by while you're in the middle of a serious conversation with your wife about something important, like the credit card bill or whatever. And mid-sentence, your eyes will drift to the window and she'll go, "Are you even listening to me?" And the honest answer is no, you weren't. Because a 1970 Chevelle SS just rolled past with a 454 big block, and somebody installed a Holley 4 barrel on it, and it sounded slightly off. And your entire nervous system just shut down to investigate. You can't help it. You didn't choose this. It chose you. Now, here's where it gets really weird. You can identify cars you've never even seen in person. Some guy fires up a Hellcat 3 streets over and your spine goes straight. That supercharger whine, that 6.2-liter Hemi growl, it's unmistakable. It's like a fingerprint. You don't even need to see it. You hear it idling and you already know it's a Charger. Probably a 2019 or later. Probably stock exhaust because it's got that specific resonance. And then it pulls out of the driveway and you go, yep, called it. And nobody's around to be impressed because nobody knows what you just did. Your dog doesn't care. Your wife is in the other room. So you just sit there, alone, with your useless superpower. Like a wizard whose only spell is identifying Mopar 5/8 from a quarter mile away. The Harley-Davidson thing is its own category, by the way. You don't even need to be paying attention. Some guy fires up a Sportster 8 blocks away and your ears just turn into satellite dishes. Potato, potato, potato. That iconic 45-degree V-twin offbeat firing pattern. You can hear one idling at a stop sign through 2 pane glass with the TV on. Your hearing has selective enhancement for very specific frequencies, and apparently a Harley at idle is the loudest sound on earth even when it's literally not. Meanwhile, your wife says, "Hey honey, can you grab the milk?" And that doesn't even register. The milk was inaudible. The Harley, however, came in crystal clear. Make it make sense. And don't even get me started on the Subaru WRX. That boxer engine rumble, that uneven firing order, that unmistakable burble at idle. You hear that flat 4 anywhere and you just know. There's a kid with a hat backwards somewhere within 200 yards and he's about to hit the gas and the whole neighborhood's gonna know about it. You don't even need to look up. You just nod slightly and go, "There he goes." Your wife says, "There who goes?" And you can't explain. There's no way to explain. You'd need a 6-hour lecture and a working knowledge of engine layouts, and even then she'd just say, "You need to get out more." Maybe. But also, maybe she needs to get in more. You ever think about that? Here's the thing nobody admits. We rank cars by sound. Out loud, we'll say it's about performance, or handling, or build quality. That's the official line. But behind closed doors, in the privacy of our own heads, we know the truth. A Ferrari F430 sounds like an angry orchestra falling down a flight of stairs, and we love it. A Lamborghini Gallardo with the 10 cylinders screams like it's mad at God personally. A 1969 Camaro Z28 with a 302 and headers? That is a religious experience. That is the sound of America working through some stuff. A Mustang GT 350 with the flat plane crank V8? That thing revs to 8,200 RPM and sounds like a Ferrari that grew up in Detroit and got into a fistfight. We don't just enjoy these sounds, we collect them mentally. We have a Spotify playlist in our brain of the greatest engine notes of all time, and we will absolutely defend our top 10 if challenged. Try telling a guy his favorite engine sound is mid. I dare you. I double dare you. You'll lose 3 hours of your life to a passionate monologue about exhaust resonance and back pressure. And then there's the diesel guys. Different breed entirely. You're driving down the highway and your buddy goes, "That's a 6.7 Cummins." And you're like, "How?" "We can't even see the truck. It's behind a hill." He just goes, "I can hear the injectors." The injectors. Sir, you are not a doctor. You did not go to school for this. But somehow you can diagnose a fuel system from inside a moving vehicle with the windows up. The CIA should be recruiting you people. Forget polygraphs. Just play Diesel Guys a 30-second audio clip and they'll tell you the truck, the year, the mileage, and probably what the owner had for breakfast. The wildest part of all this is that we remember, permanently, forever, with zero effort. Ask me what I had for lunch on Tuesday, and I will stare at you like you just asked me to solve a math problem in Latin. No idea. None. Couldn't even guess. But ask me what my grandfather's 1972 Buick Skylark sounded like when he started it cold on a Sunday morning in October, and I can play it for you in my head right now. Note for note, the starter motor, the cough, the settle into idle, the slight valve tick that he never fixed. I haven't heard that car in over 20 years. He's been gone for 15. But that sound is in there forever, taking up valuable real estate that probably should have gone to remembering my anniversary. Priorities? My brain doesn't have any. It picked engine sounds over basically everything else, and there's no manager to complain to. This is where it stops being funny and gets a little real for a second. Because I think a lot of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, didn't fall in love with engines. We fell in love with the people attached to them. That 1985 Mustang GT 5.0 wasn't just a car. It was your dad coming home from work. That 1977 F-150 was your uncle teaching you how to back up a trailer. That little Honda Civic with the wheezy D-Series engine was the first car you bought with your own money when you were 19 and dumb and free. The sounds aren't just sounds, they're time machines. They're the closest thing we have to actually going back. And every time you hear something on the road that sounds like one of those memories, even just a little, your whole nervous system reacts because for half a second, you're not on Main Street. You're somewhere else, with someone else, who maybe isn't around anymore. And nobody warned us this would happen. Nobody told us that loving cars meant signing up for involuntary nostalgia attacks every time a vintage truck rolls by. But here we are. You know what else nobody warned us about? The decline. The slow, quiet, terrifying decline of engine sounds. Everything's going electric. Everything's going hybrid. Everything's going whisper quiet and dead silent and personality free. They're tuning new cars to sound like spaceships in some sci-fi movie nobody asked for. They're piping fake engine noise through the speakers because the real engine doesn't make any. We're losing the language. The actual audible language of cars is disappearing in real time, and most people don't even notice because they never spoke it in the first place. But we do. We notice. Every time another beautiful old V8 gets crushed and replaced with a silent appliance, something in us goes a little quieter too. And I don't think that's dramatic. I think that's just true. So if you're the guy who can hear a flat six Porsche from a block away and immediately tell whether it's air-cooled or water-cooled, if you can identify a Coyote 5.0 by its idle alone, if you've ever stopped mid-conversation because a 67 GTO with 400 Ram Air rolled by and you needed a moment, if you've ever tried to explain to your wife why you were standing in the driveway at 11 p.m. listening to your neighbor cold start his 1972 Bronco and just couldn't find the words, If your brain has filed away thousands of engine notes like a librarian who only cares about one weird, very loud section of the library, welcome, you're home, you're not crazy. You're not weird. Well, you are weird, but you're our kind of weird. And there's more of us out there than anybody realizes. We're the last generation that grew up hearing internal combustion as the soundtrack of everyday life. We were raised on it, lullabied by it. 40 years from now, kids are going to look at videos of a 1970 Hemi Cuda firing up, and they're going to think it's cool the way we think old steam locomotives are cool. Distant, historical, other. But for us, it's still alive. It's still the language of the road. And every time we recognize one out in the wild, every time our head turns at a stoplight, every time we identify a car we can't even see, we're keeping that language alive a little longer. We're the ears that remember. So next time someone catches you with that 1,000-yard stare while a 1972 Plymouth Barracuda rumbles past 2 streets over and they ask you what's wrong, just smile. Tell them nothing's wrong. Tell them everything is exactly right. Tell them you just heard something beautiful. They probably won't get it. That's okay. They don't have to. The car heard you back. And that's enough. Drop a comment and tell me the engine sound that lives rent-free in your head. The one you can hear right now if you close your eyes. The one that takes you somewhere. I read every single one. And if this video found you, you already know why. We see each other. We hear each other. Welcome to the brotherhood of the listening ear. Now go start something loud.